What's going on? Welcome back to The Art of Violence. What I want to talk about is Sean Strickland and his coach's drama that is going on right now. I know I'm a little bit late. I got to get much better at filming these on time and uploading them on time. It is something that happened that is kind of serious. You're potentially talking about a fallout between a coach and a fighter, and a duo that we thought was, I guess, I don't know, maybe heartwarming in some way. Eric Nixick had talked at length at how he had helped Sean Strickland. He had, he looked at him almost, I guess, like a little brother, maybe like a son in some ways, or just a friend that he was very much helping out. Gave him a position at Extreme Couture. He gave him, roles to fill, gave him kind of a purpose, wanted him to feel included, wanted him to feel like he was, part of the team and had an important, role to play in that team. And that his life could be more, because Sean is a very troubled individual, and he's someone who's struggled a lot with depression and terrible things, I guess, that have happened to him as a kid, and things he's seen, and things that he hasn't come to terms with. He cried on that podcast with Theo Vaughn. And so, Eric, I believe, has been an instrumental part of and a monumental part of getting him past that, at least in some way. Now, again, Sean is a very troubled character. He's someone who is also very contradictory. He'll talk about like being a real man and you got to fight and you got to do this and men need to become like this. And then he's like getting mad and trying to fight someone in public and, telling Dricus du Plessis that he took it too far. And then he's crying and he's upset and he's emotional. And he's talking about being a badass at the press conference. And then he goes out there and doesn't perform well. He barely ever finishes anyone. Oftentimes doesn't pull the trigger in moments that matter. So he's a very contradictory individual, and I think him as a person in his own life is probably very troubled as well. Seems like he's dealing with a lot. But basically what happened, the gist of it, and I'll probably make some videos breaking down the fights as well, but Eric Nixick went on a podcast after the fight, the disappointing performance of Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, and he said how disappointed he was in Sean. He said that he thought Sean was capable of doing better, how Sean kind of just, let everyone down. He wasn't taking corner advice well. He just didn't want to pull the trigger. He didn't want to perform in clutch moments. He, just didn't really show up, and basically saying that if Sean just wants to fight for money and fight for, I don't know, fame and recognition or for the payday, then that's fine. But he's like, I want to coach world champions, so he needs to let me know what's going on. A little bit of a serious message. And, I'll be honest, it did kind of come out of left field. It came a little bit out of nowhere. I think people originally thought that, like, they had some tough conversations behind closed doors, and this is where it currently was. And so now Eric Nixick is speaking on it, because he was kind of doing it in a little bit of like a admonishing, a little bit like condemning fashion, but that's what a coach is there for. And I'm sure he said much harsher things to Sean behind closed doors, as every coach probably should and could. But it's the fact that he was doing it online, and I believe it was Ariel Helwani's show, and most coaches don't do that. Even when the fighter loses, they're still like, they make excuses for the fighter. They still say like, oh, I think he's still the best in the world. Very rarely do they come down on their fighter like that. Now, that sort of criticism is a good thing. There's a strong argument it should be kept behind closed doors, but Eric Nixick took it to the media. And so Sean Strickland then makes a response video and goes, his coach is Eric. He's like, Eric wanted to be a damn influencer and go on his podcast and get his moment and talk about this and also, kind of speak down on my name. And so he's like, he's a good friend. He always will be, but he's probably not going to be in my corner ever again. It's a pretty big statement. I mean, that's like the guy that got you there, and now he's not going to be in your corner. So that's a pretty big statement. You could tell Sean was definitely pissed about it. And then when I saw that originally, I was like, damn, I think he's making an emotional decision. Like, his coach has been with him for that long. He's helped him get there. He's really just going to cut him off like this because he went online. And I mean, the thing is, his coach said a lot of things that are true. He just probably shouldn't have said them that publicly, that quickly, without talking to Sean. And then it becomes illuminated and revealed that Sean didn't really have a conversation with him about this.
All right, guys keep tagging me about this whole Eric thing, and goddamn it, Because I like Eric. He's a friend of mine, and he's going to continue to be a friend of mine. Will he probably be in my corner? Probably not. We have so many great guys at Extreme. Nate, Ray Cepho. We have so many savages that I would love to corner me.
Right. So now we start to get a little more insight. Then someone close to Eric Nixick, I believe, and Sean Strickland, who trains out of Extreme Couture, did an interview saying that there's a lot more to the story. It's potentially a money issue. Sean has blown Eric off a little bit. Eric potentially didn't get paid what he thought was fair. So it's like, it's deeper. And as far as I know right now, that's kind of where it is. That's where it's died off. But there were several conversations that probably should have happened behind closed doors that didn't. It looks like each one could have done a better job. It looks like Sean didn't get back to him on some stuff. Eric probably felt disrespected, probably a little annoyed. Then Sean performs like that, doesn't take corner advice, is literally walking away from his coach while he's giving him advice in the corner. And he's the coach is like trying to get his attention, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I got it." Gets beat literally. I think he might have won one round, but he got shut out, and he got his nose broken really, really badly. So I can understand Eric's disappointment. I can also, I guess, understand Sean's position, although kind of it does look like Sean, in some ways, is kind of more at fault here for the way he's been performing and acting maybe behind closed doors versus Eric Nixick just doing that one thing that probably wasn't the best thing to do, which is go and talk publicly like that when he should have done it behind closed doors. But simultaneously, again, he didn't say anything that wasn't true. He's saying a lot of stuff that's true about Sean. It's just typically you wouldn't want to do that without talking to your fighter first. And I think that is a bit of a mistake. So there's several ways to look at it. You guys can comment below who you think was wrong, or, if Sean Strickland should really get rid of him as his coach, or if Eric should. Oh, that's another thing too. Eric, if I'm not mistaken, did publicly apologize. I'll try to put the statement that he wrote, that he said he shouldn't have done it. He was trying to motivate Sean, and it was the wrong move. So he did publicly apologize, which is good. So maybe Sean should reconsider. I don't know if he will. I don't know what Sean's going to do. People are coming down on Sean really hard. You got to understand, he did lose to like the best guy in the world. So at middleweight. So it's not anything to like really cry about, but we will see how he performs from here on out. So you guys can comment below. Who do you think's in the wrong? Do you think Eric is in the wrong? Do you think Sean Strickland's in the wrong? Do you think Eric could have handled it better? Do you think Sean could have handled it better? Who do you kind of side with here? And if Eric isn't going to be his coach, I mean, who's he going to choose to be his coach? Eric's a pretty good coach, man. He's coached a lot of people like Francis Ngannou. Obviously, he's been with Sean for a while. He's coached several other people as well, and I think been a big part of them winning big fights. So we're going to have to see what happens. Sorry if this video is a little bit all over the place. I don't really do any planning before these videos. I kind of just put a camera on and go. So it can be a little difficult to put everything into a cohesive whole. But, I think I got most of my thoughts out on the matter and on the subject. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked it. Again, comment below who you think is at fault and what you think Sean Strickland should do in this situation. I can see both sides. I kind of feel like at this point, Sean's the one who's being a little bit of a dipshit, especially if there's a money issue and, Eric isn't getting paid what he feels he needs. I think you should definitely pay your coach whatever they want if they've really gotten you to high places, but we don't know the full context. We never will. That's just what we're talking about based on information presented to the public. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name's Angelo. This is The Art of Violence. Till next time.